Next round is finals. Finals is going to be the top 2 in the class. It is based upon overall score, not necessarily wins and losses. And so it is Aayush versus Trent. Congratulations. Trent, you are the top seed. So you get to pick side or speaker position.
I'll go second.
Okay. Confidence.
I'll go second.
Aayush, what side do you want?
I'm on con.
Ooh, Aayush with the con pick. So pro.
That's what happens
Trent,
every time.
It's Trent gets what he wants. So I'll give you about 1 minute. You already have shared each other's cases, or I need to reshare?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Let's check and see.
I don't really know.
I already know what he's going to talk about, so.
Would you like to see his card or not, Aayush?
I don't care.
Yeah, I don't really care either. I don't usually look at them, to be honest, because it's just too hard for me to flip through all of them.
Okay.
So it's okay.
We'll work on that.
Okay, no flowing for me, at least.
I'll give you 30, 45 seconds to
I already
get
have it
ready.
open. I already have it open.
All right, well, let's let Trent get ready. Everyone else, same thing.
Mine's already open as well.
All right, so that means Aayush is first.
Yes, okay.
Starting in
Okay.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Gandhi negates. Resolved. All secondary schools in the United States should not require all students to wear a school uniform to the school. My sole contention is individuality. Subpoint A. Uniforms suppress individuality. Grace Chen, avid education researcher, wrote in 2008. Uniforms stifle a student's need for self-expression. By denying students the opportunity to fully express their unique personality through the clothing they select, individualism is unable to develop to its fullest capacity. When children select their own clothing, they are able to develop confidence and independence, characteristics vital to personality development and adult success. Denying students the ability to express individualism and belief in culture could stymie the student's transition from childhood into adulthood. Subpoint B. Uniforms do bad to individualism. Paolo Lindsay, author for The Oracle, wrote in 2019. However, requiring uniforms in Pinellas County or any other county teaches students a dangerous lesson because it opposes their freedom of expression. Subpoint C. Individuality is the most important because when allowing kids to express themselves, they can be more independent and less dependent. Uniforms prevent kids from showing what they like and what they wear. They are kept quiet. Uniforms help kids develop their personality. I'm done.
Okay, questions from the audience. Raise your hand if you have a question. Dooley, you're first.
You said that school uniforms suppress individuality, but can't the students just wear school uniforms, or not school uniforms, other things after school, even though like your friends won't see it or whatever? You're still having that sort of
yes, but no one will know who you really are. Only your parents will know because they're with you most of the time. And also, after school, even if you go to like karate class or whatever, they have uniforms there too. So what's the thing there? And most people would just like go home and change into their pajamas. Come on.
Okay, Ivana.
Yes.
You aren't there are more ways of like showing individuality than just wearing clothes at school. Like you can have a weird hairstyle or shoes.
Yes, but most schools prevent that. Like even in Korea Lane, I read the rule book. You have to wear like green shoes, like black shoes or blue shoes. Like most schools put a restriction on that. And like you can't do your hair long, etc. Because they want everyone.
I have a question for you. So,
yes.
On the thing you said that after school, people the classes that they go to, they have uniforms there though. But like some like sports that are after school, you don't have to wear a uniform in that. You could just wear any type of like.
Yeah, but in sports, you're not gonna really focus on what you're wearing. You're gonna focus on playing your game. So.
Arjun.
Like hello.
So you're assuming a lot here. You're saying that. Most of the times when you go outside, you wouldn't be wearing uniforms because the place you would go to have uniforms. So how can you say that everywhere a person goes to?
Well, when you go outside and you're not next to your peers or people you know, or like then people won't really notice you. People will only notice you when you're like close by to people.
Last question, Inian.
Wouldn't all these accessories or other things like not wearing school uniforms prevent sort of take your mind off of your school studies or like distract you basically?
I don't get your question because I'm not talking about academic achievement. I'm talking about individuality.
Okay, that's time. Next up is Trent. Ready to go, Trent?
Hold on, give me a sec. Yeah, I'm good. All right.
5,
Hawkins
4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Hawkins affirms, resolved, all secondary schools of the United States should require all students to wear school uniforms at school. My sole contention is behavior. Subpoint A, school uniforms improve behavior. Brunsma et al., associate professor at University of Alabama, written in 1998. Second advocates believe that uniforms increase student learning and positive attitudes towards school through enhanced learning environments. Third advocates believe that wearing uniforms leads to decreased behavior problems by increasing attendance rates, lowering suspension rates, and decreasing substance use among the student body. Finally, those in favor of school uniforms attribute such psychological outcomes as increased self-esteem. Subpoint B, behavior is the most important because how kids react and act towards others has a greater impact on other people. Children's behavior and rude actions can sometimes sprout out. Behavior is very rude and it can be hurtful to people mentally and physically, and school uniforms can prevent that.
Okay, first question is Dooley.
Knowing that your information is from 1998, how is it still valid?
Well, since my information is from 1998, there aren't any specific examples that prove that a lot of things have changed since then. There isn't any information that have provided in-depth evidence that there has been a drastic change of school uniforms from 1998 to 2020. So it's so the information is still similar and it is still valid.
Next question, Lily.
So in your card, you said something about academic achievement. Is your card about behavior or academic achievement?
It's about behavior, but the academic achievement was one of the side effects that school uniforms also kind of inputs on the students. My card was discussing behavior rates as that was my main
Sia.
Effects of school uniforms within the card.
Sia. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So you said that so you said that people when they wear school uniforms, it like the way kids behaved not only be in school uniforms, it can also be in other ways. So how would only school uniforms help only in that way?
Look at it from that perspective. School uniforms can together or safer. People have themselves out of place, and their actions will improve because they feel better about themselves.
Okay, that is time. Next up, Aayush, ready to go? You need to unmute yourself, Aayush?
Okay, yeah, sorry about that.
No worries. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Answer 2, uniforms increase safety. Link term, uniforms decrease safety. Coursera wrote in 2018, a Texas Southern University found that school discipline incidents rose by about 12% after the introduction of uniforms. In Miami-Dade County, an area riddled with crime, one would expect to see some sort of positive change with uniforms, right? The results are astounding to say the least. According to the Miami-Dade County Public Schools Office of Education Evaluation and Management, fights in middle schools nearly doubled within 1 year of introducing mandatory school uniforms. A national, a national sample of 10th graders found effects of uniforms on behavioral problems, fights, suspensions, and etc. Individuality outweighs violence because violence is not stopped by wearing a uniform. It's stopped by having the right, by controlling your mind and by having good adults around. Anyone can go on the internet, buy your school's uniform, and sneak a gun into the school and create violence. Actually, it'd be easier to blend in because no one would know that person's style or that person's style. Like if everyone didn't have uniforms, then you would know, oh, this guy typically wears this, or this guy typically wears this. But if you have uniforms, then everyone would wear the exact same thing. So then that violent person could legit blend in and create violence.
Time. Questions from the audience. Start out with David.
Your data was from Miami. So how do you know that would affect like a school like Quarry Lane in California?
Well, if imagine this: if in one of the most violent places in America, uniforms wouldn't affect, would double the fights and stuff. What would you expect to see in a peaceful scenario? Either no effect or it would kind of increase.
Okay. Next up is Lily.
So you said that this data is from public schools. How do you know it will be the same in private schools?
I know that it will be the same in private schools because private schools are basically public schools. Just you got to pay money, and they got a little bit more extra and harder curriculum. That's
Sid.
So you said that if you're wearing uniforms, then someone can come in and wear the uniform and just have a gun or something. But wouldn't behavior count as that because it's their behavior that they're doing to use the gun to kill somebody with the uniform on?
I don't get your question. Could you please repeat it?
If he solves behavior in other ways, would that also reduce the likelihood of guns?
I couldn't hear you. What?
If they solve behavior in other ways with school uniforms, would that also reduce the likelihood of a school shooter?
Yeah, but a school shooter is not from the school. It's from outside the school. So he wouldn't care about if he wore uniforms, oh, he'll get behavior.
Okay, Michelle.
And by the way, just by putting on a uniform doesn't mean your behavior is going to go, tremendously up. It's still going to be the same.
When you say that the shooter could, well, number one, shooters usually also come in from inside the school, just so you know. And number two, you said that somebody could, quote unquote, order a uniform off the internet. However, I'd like to disagree that if everybody were also wearing casual clothes, it would also be fairly easy for somebody outside the school to come in.
Yeah, but you would know that person, you would know everyone's style in the school, so you could easily detect an intruder.
Okay, no follow-up, sorry. Last question is Armin.
So school shooting has been a big problem around, and now that it's been happening more, I'm pretty sure that schools have been putting police officers and everything in front of the door. So if an intruder or someone else comes, they would probably notice that. Yeah. Even if they had a uniform.
Yeah, okay. I agree with your so-called statement, but just to add on top of that, not everyone dies from gang violence or injuries. You have to have some joy in the world, some diversity in the world. You can't just have everyone be the same. You have to have not everyone's gonna be oh, I'm gonna kill someone gang violence. Come on, dude.
That is time. Trent, ready to go?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Response 2, uniforms decrease individuality. Link turn. School uniforms increase individuality. Citizen 10, written in 2014. School uniforms create a sense of identity and unity in a school. By having students dress the same way, you promote the idea that they are all part of something bigger than themselves individually. Uniforms allow students to give schools a visible identity, something physical and real, which students can look to and be proud of. Uniforms create a definitive idea of us as opposed to them being students from other schools. Behavior outweighs individuality because behavior can have a greater impact on a student. It can cause them pain mentally and physically. With bad behavior, students can cause harm to their peers and staff and even authority. That's it.
Hard comparison.
The reason that my card is better is because he had a lot of assuming. For example, he assumed that all school shooters already go to the school. While if everybody's wearing school uniforms, you can't just go online and buy a uniform. If some random person that I met at a Warriors game wanted to buy a Corey Lane school uniform, they can't just walk into a store and buy it. So if somebody is coming in wearing all black and then the school's uniforms are all white, it would be very easy to differentiate them from everybody else and quickly contact authority to resolve that issue.
Okay, Sid, first question.
So you said that wait, sorry, I'm wrong person, but okay, I still have a question for you.
Okay.
You said that behavior outweighs individuality because it affects the person themselves. But and you said they're all one whole object or all the same people because they're wearing the same uniform. They're all one whole. And how does that affect one individual person if they're all one whole?
It can affect somebody individually because if somebody were, let's just say that for sake of example, that they felt left out, that they felt like they weren't themselves. If they come in contact with a bunch of people and they're all together and they unite as one, people will feel like they're actually part of something and they'll feel that they can express themselves to the fullest and won't feel like they're left out.
Arjun.
Right, so you have information from a person named Citizen 10. How do you know that the information you got from him is still valid?
The reason that I know that the information I got from them was valid was I don't know that they've gone to a college, or I don't know that they've watched a lot of school uniforms transition from having school uniforms to not having them or vice versa. But I think that he will have a good idea of how school uniforms have affected people. And I think that he has a good idea on how people can unite as one, because that's not only school uniform, that's also a life lesson and teamwork as well.
David.
So I'm sort of going on a different question. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
This says my internet connection's unstable again. So you said that behavior is like who you are, right? But wouldn't you agree that individuality is also like who you are?
Yeah, individuality is who you are, and I don't recall in my argument, in my subpoint B or my card, that I stated that behavior was who you are.
Julie.
Okay. So basically, you keep on saying that I think this source, Citizen 10, is believable because I think they have good information. I think this, I think that. Why is everything I think? Why can't you have like a stable base that you can rely on?
The reason that I don't have a stable base is because I don't have their qualifications prior to this argument. And I know that's just me contradicting myself, but I don't really have anything to go against that.
Final question. We'll call it someone from random. Let's go with Naomi.
You say that uniforms create like a definite idea of us. So how come that is better than having like individual people and having everybody be different?
Because let's say that there's 10 people in a grade, and 2 of them feel left out and they can't express themselves individually. Bringing together a big group, so called us, will allow everybody to feel inclusive and they can actually express themselves within the group, while prior to that experience, they would be confined within themselves and they would feel like they're sort of just getting attacked at every angle and they wouldn't be able to express themselves.
Okay, that's time. Aayush, ready to go?
Yes.
Okay, starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
So yeah, so I think I should win because my point is absolutely valid. Anyone can go on the internet, look up Corey Lane, where they buy the uniforms from, and they did buy the uniform and started violence in the school. First of all, not everyone dies from gang violence or safety-related activities. People live on, okay? So that's how individuality matters. You need diversity in the world. You need uniqueness in the world. His qualifications were from this person named Citizen 10 who went up on the blog post, put his idea on, and he thought it was very valid with no data. That guy could be some random guy in the world who does not know a single thing about school uniforms. He instead went the opposite direction of individuality. Individuality is about yourself. He went out going about a community. A community has nothing to do with individuality. Okay? If you have good individuality, if you're like unique, then you can get jobs. Like people would like hire you compared to someone who's just like a brainiac. Because you know who you are. He kept assuming that Citizen 10 was this. Oh, Citizen 10 was this. Well, that doesn't really matter. I mean, but like he kept assuming that. His thing was from 1998. Look how many things would change in that much time. Curriculum changes, teachers change, students change. Then why don't rules change?
And time. Yeah. Trent, ready to go?
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
The reason that I believe I should win this argument is because he assumed too much. For example, he assumed that you can just easily sneak a gun into a school, while Armin clearly stated that a lot of schools are putting authority in front of their schools to prevent that from happening. He also said that private schools are the exact same as public schools, although you just have to pay for a private school, which is just extraordinarily incorrect. He said that it's very easy to blend in with a group of people because you can just go online and buy a school uniform. He didn't provide any examples of where you can just go and buy one, because if a random person really wanted to come to our school, you have to go through a special process to be able to buy a school uniform. He says that you will know everybody's style, so it's very easy to differentiate people. For example, Amador Valley High School in Pleasanton, California has over 7,000 people. You really think that, let's just say a new freshman would know every single person's style? If somebody were to come in, it would be very easy to blend in with other people. He also said that people don't really die when there are school uniforms, or they don't die because of gang violence. But in Florida, 17 people died. To me, that sounds like a lot of people have died due to a school shooting. He responded to questions with, imagine this, imagine this. That's stating that this could happen. Maybe this will happen, but that's not actually reality, and he doesn't have any evidence proving why this will or has happened. Lastly, he stated that people can just live on after having trauma or having people come into your school and shoot. If somebody dies, such as the 17 people that died in Florida, they won't be able to continue their lives because they died in the school shooting.
Okay, time. Everyone vote. Give you 1 minute to vote, and then we will announce. You got 6 people who voted. 10 people have voted, about half the class, a few more. We'll announce. One more minute and we'll announce. Okay, so let's announce ballots we got. So this was our final debate we had for the semester. It represented the first and second seed for the class competing against each other. So hopefully this was a very good debate for you all, and you got to see some high-level argumentation back and forth. One ballot for the pro because his summary had much more evidence than the cons. One for the pro because the pro had an amazing argument, even if their evidence was from Citizen 10. One from the pro because the con assumed most of their evidence and doesn't have any data to back up the claim. One for the pro because the con uses the word die, which sounds violent to me and offended me. One for the pro because they had a much better summary. One for the pro because the pro had good evidence to answer the questions well. One for the con because the pro contradicted themselves with their assumptions. One for the con because the pro contradicted themselves. One for the pro because the pro was confident, better evidence, and Aayush kept saying imagine and kept assuming. One for the pro because the pro had proper data and evidence, whereas the con read too fast. One for the pro because I don't think Aayush had a base, so he can't really say anything. Trent was more confident. One for the pro because people lives matter more than if they can express themselves. One for the pro because Trent was better and Aayush assumed a lot of things. One for the con because the pro assumed some things and then tried to say the con was assuming things and contradicted themselves. One for the pro because the Aayush contradicted himself and he doesn't know that school now does allow you to wear any shoe colors you want. They got rid of that rule 2 years ago. One for the pro because the pro pulled out a lot of solid information closely related to the topic while the con was constantly grasping at straws. And so that is our final debate. It seems like the pro won the debate. So congratulations.
Dude, Trent, I told you. Trent, I told you.
Congratulations, Aayush, for getting second in the class. I will say it was a relatively close debate. Trent got a little lucky. He did hopefully realize that he did saying Aayush was assuming, Aayush was assuming, Aayush was assuming, and then made 10 assumptions in a row about what Citizen 10 did. So
yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I was hoping no one noticed.
I was about to say that as a follow-up question, but I realized I couldn't do that, so I'm just like,
I think in the future, Trent, when you realize that you've contradicted yourself, then you have two options. You either forget saying that Citizen 10 assumes stuff,
say it.
or you just say, fine, let's stop worrying about assumptions. We both assume, and then let's move on and make a different card comparison. That would have been a way to help out. To get out of a mistake. Or just, as Julie said.
I just sat there and just muted myself and just not answered.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Small mistakes happen. One thing to realize as well is hopefully Trent and Aayush and everyone else realized that, they both went to intramurals. And by going to intramurals, how many extra debates did you get, Aayush, for both intramurals?
What?
How many extra debates did you get by going to both intramurals?
10.
10. How many extra debates did you get, Trent, by going to one intramural?
I think like 4.
4 or 5. Yeah,
5.
4, because there's like a bye. And so if you didn't go to intramurals, you only got 2 debates pretty much the whole semester, maybe 3 if you were lucky. And so by going to an intramural, it really gets you a lot more practice, a lot more help, and the ability to do better in these debates and to have a lot more fluid, a lot more understanding of the arguments and impact calculus. And so that concludes our debate finals for the day. We've announced our winners. Congratulations for the winners.